Thank you for joining me. This is Treatment 1, Awakening. Many years ago, I had a patient that gave me a book, and it's influenced my life greatly. It's the writings of Florence Scovel Shinn, and the patient inscribed in it before this trip I was supposed to take, which would be a great influence in my life and those I would touch. She wrote, "Dr. Ken, may the power of your words take you to eternal greatness." And she gave me this book, and I began to read it, and it was a good selection of the writings from Florence Scovel Shinn, and some of the titles are The Game of Life, Your Word is Your Wand, The Power of the Spoken Word, The Secret Door to Success. I recommend this greatly, taking the time to research and read through and practice a lot of what's in the book, because it does bring enlightenment to this idea of awakening to oneself and how much we do influence everything that happens to us. So much of my experience with others and myself and growing has a lot to do with that owning up to what we say influencing what actually happens. It's this idea that energy becomes mass, and thought is energy, words are energy, and it's so important for us to spend that energy wisely to think good thoughts, because thoughts become things. And in practicing this, I've seen great changes. There's been so many more movies and books on this principle. Some people have titles for it, metaphysics and all sorts of other titles, but the practice of it is really something other than a title. It's a way of living, a way of awakening to that power of your words. When you ask someone how their day is, generally, most people will respond in a way that is glorifying or giving energy to the negative. Oh, it's not so bad, or it could be better, or it's been worse. It's rare that you find someone that projects the way that they want their day to be, or the way it truly is if it were weighed against purely bad or horrible day. And we can, if our minds went there, probably think of tremendous ways in which days can be truly horrible compared to our own day that we're having now. So it's so important that even in those really dark moments, we find a way to project and to alter and to influence our way of being by saying what we truly mean and what we truly should be feeling, which is, it's great, it's tremendous, it's inspiring, it's lovely, beautiful, grand. These are words that will inspire not only you to feel well, but those around you to be inspired, to feel grand, to awaken to their own options and choices for living life in its true sense, which is really one of beauty and can be one of heaven on earth, heaven inside, heaven around. So the other options, which I then went on to undertake, was that option of starting my day by feeding my spirit, my soul, rather than just my body. So in awakening became this idea that one's mornings could be filled with a meditative sort of devotional aspect, and I hope that this is inspiring you to also do that. The reflecting on some of my writings that were influenced by my devotions, I want to read one passage that starts with keeping close. Keeping close, learning what is most important, feeling free and open today. I find strength not in friends, family, wife, lover, mother, sister, brother, but the sheer will to live a life of love, a life smiled on by Christ, by humanity and uniqueness. It is to be protected. I am learning to be true to myself again and opening my heart in this way, and to this light is an ode to things to come. Looking back at this passage that I wrote and inscribed in my devotional, one of my devotionals, it really helps me reflect on moments when we can come alive and we can fully embrace what it is to keep close to that which is bigger than ourselves, which is grand and beautiful and everlasting. It's normal to feel small, and it's normal to feel inconsequential at times because we're surrounded by so much information, so much noise, so many people, there's just structures upon structures and places and things, but it's also normal to feel like we are an integral part of all of it. So reminding oneself that we are bigger inside than outside is really important. Another passage starts, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." This is a prayer that I started with because it was so very heavy on my heart to do so. And most of what we say and do, a lot of times, are so influenced by what we read and watch and the people we've learned from. So it's only natural to, at times, repeat these things. And I think, again, it comes down to choosing which ones we're going to repeat and owning the power of repeating those things. It's like parents. Some of us have those parents that we love and we respect and we feel that we want to imitate and emulate. And some of us has those parents that we love, yes, accept, yes, but know that it's probably best not to imitate or emulate. And that's how words are. That's how focus is. That's how energy is. We can spend time digesting so much around us, but it's so important to choose what we're going to focus our energy on, what we're going to repeat, what we're going to speak, how we're going to say it, and how we're going to proceed with our day. Are we going to bring good energy or not? It's a choice. So the rest of that passage goes, "My dreams were kind and informative. I spoke with people I haven't spoke with for a while, and some dreams were somewhat detached from the present, almost futuristic. I learned that I cannot beat myself or beat up myself. The only true measure of a man is his heart. A glimpse into my future showed me that all is to be great." So I started with a prayer, and then I started to document what I remembered of a series of dreams of that night. And I did that to remind myself that dreams also reflect what our focus is, and that sometimes we can see a series of dreams and give power to them, and we can see the negative and be fearful, or we can see them as a guide, a warning of things to learn from, and a way to guide us in our dealing with situations once we come back to reality. I think I've chosen to do that more often than the first option, and it served me well to see dreams as a guide, and even the ones that seem negative, to learn from those lessons so that when I do come back and awaken into reality, I can then deal with situations more humbly. I can be more of an observant and see those around me as teachers rather than feel that there is some sort of opposition. Many times challenges feel like a wall, but we should use them as steps. And in so doing, they can catapult us into our better self. So many people use a saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." However, I like to really focus again on the positive. So we can always look and think about life in general is meant to make us stronger. We don't have to focus on death. Death is but a transition, but life is a series of lessons. And I like to think of this place as Earth School. So even my work is a work of love. I choose to approach it as a work of love. So you could think of yourself going to work and working on the way that you love, and sharing your love with others, whatever that job is. If you do it with love, that's what you're doing. So it's, again, a choice. Awakening to choices and how we approach them. Using our words wisely, speaking with authority, accepting our challenges as steps and catapults into greatness,